Hi, I'm Lanisha Robinson, your host for Career and Technical Education, #Build a Future. Working in St. Lucie Public Schools with Career and Technical Education, CTE department, we want to show what our teachers and students are doing in the classroom to close a skills gap in multiple fields. The students in these programs are earning industry certifications, which create more opportunities and options for all students after high school graduation. In this upcoming episode, you will meet Mrs. Angela Baumgarten and Mr. James Jim Nichols from St. Lucie West Centennial High School and learn more about the Criminal Justice Academy, which is a part of St. Lucie Public Schools. Hi, good morning. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
I'm Angela Baumgarten, and I'm a criminal justice teacher at Centennial High School.
Good morning. My name is Jim Nichols, and I am also an instructor in the Criminal Justice Academy at St. Lucie West Centennial.
Okay, welcome. So if you all can share with us, what was your prior experience prior to coming to St. Lucie West Centennial and actually teaching criminal justice? So we'll start with you, Angela.
Okay, I am a Florida lawyer. I practiced law for approximately 5 years with a firm. And then I went on to raise my children. While I was raising my children, I worked part-time as a lawyer, helping colleagues with research and that sort of thing. And then I decided, you know, I have this degree in education, and what a great way to share my experiences and use my teaching degree. And so then I began teaching law at Centennial.
Thank you.
I come from a law enforcement background. I was a police officer for 30 years. The last 13 of that, I was the chief of police. And also the last 8 years as an officer, I was also a certified law enforcement instructor, and thought this was going to be a great opportunity for me to share a lot of my experience and criminal justice experience with students here at St. Lucie West Centennial.
Okay, so how are you all coming from industry, now teaching criminal justice? How are you able to stay on top of any changes or what's going on, either whether it's technology or even new laws that's coming out? How do you stay on top of that in your role?
For myself, being a Florida lawyer, we are required to do continuing legal education. So I try to choose my continuing legal education courses so that it benefits me both as a lawyer and the program for my students in criminal law. I also receive all of the publications from the Florida Bar, so I keep abreast of the laws and the changes in the law through that.
I spend a great deal of time researching the internet, spend a lot of time at the U.S. Supreme Court and appellate court levels. I still have a lot of contacts in law enforcement and am registered with a lot of websites that provide updates on current trends in law enforcement and any changes in the laws.
So with you both being basically role models for your students, was there always a desire to work in the criminal justice field or the law field?
For myself, I actually was not intending to work in law. When I was in the College of Education in my last year at University of Florida, one of my professors said, you know, have you ever considered law school? And I began to choose some courses in higher education and the law, and that kind of sparked my interest. But I really always thought I would be an educator until very late in my college years.
Wow, okay.
For me, it was a calling. I think that for many individuals, going into law enforcement truly is a calling. And probably when I was in my early 20s is when I started to do some research into the career field, and I became a reserve police officer with a very large city. And that gave me, I thought this will give me the opportunity to see if I really do like it, and I did enjoy it immensely, and so therefore I started to work on an education that would help guide me and give me opportunities for job placement and advancement in the criminal justice field. So yes, I would say for quite a while I knew this is the direction that I wanted to go.
Okay. So for those who are listening and they're trying to figure out what exactly is a criminal justice, and we also call it the law program at St. Lucie West Centennial, what exactly is the primary, I guess, scope or primary objective of the program?
Our primary objective is to expose students to the various careers in criminal justice, to provide them with the knowledge and skills, the foundation for whatever direction that they choose to go in, whether it's the law, law enforcement, corrections, public safety, security, and students hopefully leave with some employability skills, problem-solving skills, the ethics that's necessary to be in one of those careers.
Okay. So when you had mentioned employability skills and looking at ethics, is that something that's infused in your lessons with both of you?
Yes, I do focus a unit on careers. Students will do a career project. We talk about goal setting. We talk about the importance of having a direction and realizing that along the way they may change their direction, but to have a direction is good. And how to dress for the job that you want, how to communicate, how to listen effectively, speak effectively, and even write effectively.
Okay. All right, so Jem, with your students that are coming to you, because you teach more of the upper level students, correct?
Yes.
Do you see that transition from the beginning to the end of them saying, hey, I want to go into law enforcement, but you know what, no, I'm more towards law now after being in your program?
We see several students who come in that definitely know they want to go into the legal side of things and become attorneys. And we see some students who are very dedicated towards the law enforcement side of it. But we do also, as Angela stated, we see a lot of students that come in and they're just interested in the program and not really sure what direction they want to go yet. And as the program continues throughout the course of the year, it is exciting to see them make their choices and their decisions on which direction that they'd like to go with the experience and the training that they get from our program.
Okay, so you had mentioned training. I know, well, let's go back. So how many classes or courses do students take to actually be completers of the program?
So there are actually 4 courses offered in our program, but to be a completer, you need to complete successfully CJ 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. Now, what is CJ? So you said CJ 1, 2, and 3 are basically to complete the program, and then CJ 4. What exactly? Well, let's go back. So for CJ 1, 2, and 3, what exactly do those courses look like? So we were to go in your classroom and sit in any one of those classes. What would those students expect to see in those courses?
For Criminal Justice 1, it's more of an overview of law enforcement, courts, corrections. I focus a lot of it on the court system, how it works, the criminal justice system. That's very eye-opening for students because they come in sort of believing in some of the myths that even adults think about, and then to change and to see that that light bulb go off is kind of nice. For Criminal Justice 1 students, they get to eventually work up to doing mock trials, practicing those debate skills, defending a side of an issue, and also learning about different perspectives, which I think is really important just as a human.
Okay, so Jim, can you tell us a little bit about CJ4, what students can expect out of Criminal Justice 4?
Criminal Justice 4 is an internship program. Last year, I had a student who was working in the code enforcement section with Fort Pierce, the city of Fort Pierce, and she gained valuable knowledge and experience working there and was actually taking part in some hearings that were going on there. She was able to utilize her office procedures and legal knowledge that she gained from that course. And I just feel that it's a great opportunity. They're learning employability skills, also learning job skills, the importance of professionalism, dressing professional, how important it is to arrive to work on time, and just learning how to be a good listener and doing the best that they can at that particular job.
Okay.
We are, Criminal Justice 4 going forward is going to be the preparation for the accredited legal professional exam. And so we will be utilizing that for that purpose, but hopefully we can still incorporate some of those internships for students.
So what exactly is the accredited legal professional exam, or what is that, industry certification? Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yes, I don't know, did you want to take that since you're doing it?
Sure. Yes, it is a national certification that our students can get, and there's 3 parts to the test, and upon successful completion of the 3-part examination, students will receive a certification for becoming an accredited legal professional with the NALS, and it's a great program and a great opportunity for our students as well.
Okay. So one of the things that I noticed visiting your classroom is that it's very unique in especially your area. You all have basically a courtroom setup. What do you all use that courtroom for? Can you explain, like, what exactly does that look like for our viewers?
Our courtroom is amazing. I mean, we have in the past used that for teen court. Teen court was a program through St. Lucie County Courts that gave students who had minor offenses an opportunity to choose an alternate way of resolving that crime. And their parent and the student would agree to go through the teen court process. So we would actually hold teen court in our courtroom at our school with a judge. And then students from the 4 schools that offer criminal justice would come and play the roles of the attorneys, the jury. And it was just really a great experience because they were dealing with a real life crime, a real life issue. And whatever result our jury decided on, that was what the student who was on trial would end up having to serve. So they were given choices, but it was really, really beneficial to our students to practice their skills.
Okay. So from those students who are practicing those skills, from whether it's using the courtroom for mock trials or for basically volunteering with the Department of Juvenile Justice, what do you think, do you see your students transitioning from, hey, and then getting more of that passion out wanting to go into law because of that? And then also, do you all have any success stories of maybe some students that have graduated, from the time you all started first working until now? Like any success stories of what they're doing now in the world?
Yes, so this is my 6th year at Centennial. I have had students over the years come back and say, I need a letter of recommendation because I want to go here, and they have written me emails, have come back and visited. I saw the spark in the courtroom when we would do mock trials, the volunteering for the more important roles, even knowing that those roles required more work. That's when you knew they were serious and they had a passion for it. I loved to hear from students who would tell me, you really inspired me to become a public defender or a prosecutor. Some of them have chosen to do civil law. But yeah, the courtroom and the atmosphere of it's, a real judge's bench and a witness stand and the microphones and the jury box and the counsel tables, the whole atmosphere of it gives them that sense of, wow, I can be doing this.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that looking at, your students and wanting more, and it's important that we also let them understand that what's going on in the real world, do you all bring individuals from industry such as your business partners into your classroom? And how do you make that work?
Yes. Did you want to talk a little bit about?
I can talk a little bit, and
Okay.
I'll let you finish up. Yeah, we had quite a few we had quite a few situations where we did bring people in from the outside that put on demonstrations for our students. One of them was the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Department that brought out their drone team and actually let the students go hand-ons and fly the drones. So they were really excited about that. Angela, do you want to finish up on?
Sure. We had canines. Students just love the canine demonstration. The dogs actually come into our auditorium and walk around and socialize, and the students get to see this isn't just some mean dog with big teeth. This is a worker in our county. Mm-hmm. So that's really interesting. We've had, panel discussions in our courtroom. I actually had, before COVID, from our public defender's office, we had Diamond Liddy. From the state attorney's office, we had Tom Bacadal. I've had Judge Tony Schwab. Recently, we had a panel discussion with an assistant public defender, an assistant state attorney, and also a judge. which was great because they all were there at the same time offering the students different perspectives on a case. We have had guest speakers from both colleges, Kaiser University and IRSC. What else? We have had attorneys.
We had the Army come out this year and
Yes.
brought their training trailer out.
All branches of the military. So quite a few guest speakers.
So basically what I'm hearing, especially from you both, is basically it's important to bring in people from the outside, from industry, working to actually speak with your students and meet with them. Do you feel like, what are the benefits your students are getting from that contact and that way of networking too?
Well, absolutely, they're getting something out of it. You know, first of all, teachers are like sometimes sounding like Charlie Brown's teachers, so I can talk at them all day. But really, it's the people who are working in those jobs, they're able to answer students' questions and tell stories. Their experiences are what the students really seem to get into. You know, a question that students often ask is, what was your most, dangerous experience? What was your most exciting experience? And they want to know, like, what will it be like if I work in this job? So who better to tell them than the people who are working in those jobs?
Okay. So you're bringing people from industry coming to the classroom. Now, are you doing opportunities where your students are able to go off campus, whether it's before or even currently?
So in the past, we used to go to the jail every year. Students really loved to do that. We haven't done it during the pandemic. However, we hope to do that again sometime in the near future. We also went to the federal courthouse, which was a really exciting experience. We did a civil discourse session. And so a federal judge with federal prosecutors and defense attorneys would actually work with our students. And our students were dressed in court attire and participated in an actual mock situation where they would separate into two groups, talk about an issue, and then come back into the courtroom and speak with the judge. And so those field trips, they just really get a lot out of.
So Mr. Nichols, you were talking earlier, because I know you do the advanced level courses. For Criminal Justice 3, is more the investigations process, right?
Correct.
Do you all do any like crime scene investigation? Because that's the biggest question. Anytime someone hears criminal justice, they think either law or they're like, hey, what about crime scene investigation? Do you bring that into your classroom or with hands-on experience as well?
Yes, we do. We start with some of the basics of crime scene investigation, how you approach it, the crime scene to make sure it's safe. Where do you start your investigation at? We set up a mock crime scene, which the students really enjoy, and we will work with them to show them the proper ways to approach the scene, photograph the scene, how to do a crime scene sketch, how to measure where exactly in the crime scene pieces of evidence are located, how to package up a piece of evidence, what type of evidence go in what type of container to avoid contamination. We go hands-on with fingerprinting, and we also do plaster cast molds of tire prints, footprints, and they get a real opportunity to work a crime scene just as it would be if it was a real crime scene. So they're very excited about that. They have a great time with that and learn some very valuable skills along the way, which they can carry with them if they were to continue to go into that career field. And we do see a lot of students at that point who may really get a spark for that and decide that they may want to go into one of the more on the forensic and criminal investigation side or work in a crime lab.
Okay. So with your experience coming from law enforcement, do you also work in any of the classes where you actually are working on law enforcement skills or hands-on skills with them or training?
Yes. In the CJ1 course, we do start with the basic fundamentals of policing, and they will have an opportunity to learn, as they do also in CJ2, to start with, let's say, traffic stops. They'll get hands-on experience with traffic stops. How do you work a low risk, unknown risk, high risk traffic stop? And They also will have opportunities. We do a lot of role playing. How do you handle a domestic violence situation? How do you interview witnesses? How do you interview suspects? How and what type of information do you need to have a successful investigation, which would ultimately end in an arrest? And what type of things as a police officer do you need to also offer the public when you're on scene? We talk a lot about not just community-oriented policing, but problem-oriented policing, where the students learn that as an officer, sometimes you wear a lot of different hats, and it's important to be a counselor, sometimes just a friend, or offer some advice to someone that you have had contact with.
Okay. So one of the things that I'm hearing from both of you all is students are getting a lot of exposure, a lot of knowledge. You're getting a lot of knowledge. You're getting opportunities to do the hands-on experiences right there in your classroom, right there at St. Lucie West Centennial High School. I know that Mr. Nichols, you and I had spoken about career and technical student organizations. Actually, we all have. Can you explain to me what exactly is what we call FPSA, which is Florida Public Service Association? And I know you recently had a trip there. Is that something that you're planning on in the future, having your students involved in?
I would love to see our students have an opportunity to participate in that program. Yes, it was very exciting. I traveled to Orlando and I got to see firsthand how the program operates. There was hundreds, probably close to 200 students there this year, and the students, what amazed me was how serious that they were taking the programs that they were doing. There was students there who were doing traffic stops. I got to take part in the evaluation of how they perform their traffic stops. There was students there who were doing 911 dispatching, and they were being evaluated on that. They had students there who were interested in going into the fire industry, and they also had a obstacle course for students. So they were getting real world hands-on experience here also from people in the industry who had a tremendous amount of training, and there was trophies, there was awards, and there had to be well over 100 different trophies there. So not only are the students getting real world experience there, they're competing against other students, they're having a chance to network with students from other schools, and they were just having a great time. And I just think this would be a great opportunity for our district and to allow us to have our students take part in this awesome program.
Okay, great. So with college credits, all right, because I know we mentioned having the students not only get involved in that, now they're going outside the classroom, they're able to compete against others in the state of Florida. So some students are, when they're completing your program as completers, or what we call basically completers of the Criminal Justice Academy, they're able to get college credits, which we know are called Articulation Agreements. Can you explain that to us, please?
Sure. The students successfully complete the criminal justice courses. They can earn up to 9 college credits at the completion of the academy, which will be accepted by most colleges. And so students, some come out work ready. Some want to go into the police academy, some want to further their education, get a criminal justice degree or a law degree, and so whatever direction they go in, the college credits obviously will help them.
Okay. Now, why is it important? Because criminal justice is actually a part of the CT department, which we call Career and Technical Education. Why is it important for students to get this access? So they're getting college credits, they're earning entry certification, which allows them to get entry-level employment opportunities as soon as they leave high school. Why is that important to have that now at the high school level and not just wait till college?
I think, obviously, anytime we can give a student some direction, that we're helping them. If we are graduating students who don't really know what they want to do, have no exposure, then we're kind of doing them a disservice. So I think the CTE program is terrific because the students can see what that they could have. They can gain the foundation for whatever direction that they want to go in. And then I've had students come back and say, I wish I had been more attentive in your class because I can see how relevant it is to the police academy or to my classes in criminal justice. So it's just a really great way to get kids started, jump-started.
Okay. So as we prepare to close, is there any last remarks either one of you would like to make?
I think if students want to get involved in the program, to see it, they should talk to their guidance counselor. They can look on Centennial, St. Lucie West Centennial's website to gain more information. They can look at our school district's website for information on CTE.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Jim, would you like to add anything else?
I just think that the criminal justice program that we have here at St. Lucie West Centennial is just a great program. Angela brings so much experience to the field, and I just think we're very well rounded out with the courts, and then we have the law enforcement side covered very well. And it's just a great program. It's a great opportunity. There is a tremendous amount of opportunities available in the community for law enforcement officers and any other particular career fields that are covered in the criminal justice field. There's just a lot of opportunities out there. And I think, like Angela said, we give our students a fantastic foundation and send them out into the work field with valuable experience and hands-on training that will give them the edge that they need to be competitive in today's industry.
Okay. Thank you. I'm Lanisha Robinson, and this is Career and Technical Education, #BuildAFuture. We encourage you to view our St. Lucie Public Schools Career and Technical Education page. In Career and Technical Education, we are merging the career pathways pipeline for each of our students. We are building a future and continuing to close the skills gap. On behalf of the station's team, I'd like to thank you for joining us today.
Oh,